Coming up on this week's edition of NPS Now, we'll take a look at a group of educators that visited Norview High School, see what Granby High School students learned on a recent field trip, and the first annual NICE Awards. Plus, sports with information about NCAA eligibility requirements and an update on great programs offered by school guidance. All that and more coming up next on NPS Now. Hello and welcome to NPS Now. I'm your host, Karen Tanner. Students from Granby High School's engineering program got the opportunity to tour the HRSD plant on Shadow and Engineer Day. Debbie Horniak has the story.
We were delighted to host students today to teach them about the many different functions and the important roles engineers play at HRSD in our treatment plants and also in managing our construction projects. We provide the opportunity for the students to meet with many of the engineers on our staff and to ask them questions about what an engineer's day is all about. We then arranged for a tour of HRSD's Virginia Initiative Plant located in Norfolk. HRSD is proud to share this educational opportunity because we want the students of today to become the engineers of tomorrow and to help us achieve our vision that future generations will inherit clean waterways and be able to keep them clean.
It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought we were all going to be sitting in a room all day, but it's a lot better than that. We learned so much about all this that I had no idea that all this had to be done to clean the water.
I want to be a nuclear engineer, and I know that it's harder for women to be engineers, and there are fewer of them than men, so it makes me happy to know that I want to be a part of that.
Introducing Girls to Engineering is a national movement that shows girls how creative and collaborative engineering is and how engineers are changing our world. Granby High School is on board with this movement and getting their girls involved.
The tour today, talking with different engineers, was try to show the kids how they all work together, and they especially brought in female engineers, which is great for the young ladies. And the guys get into it, but the women, it's a hard field for them to get into, and it's a great field to get into. So we're hoping to instill more information to them, get them out there to talk to other kids, and maybe put on a class just for girls at Granby High School.
Well, I'm in the IB program at Granby, so the courses are hard and they're rigorous, and they teach you how to manage your time and better prepare yourself for college. So I figured that will help me more than anything.
Wavy TV 10 News anchor Don Roberts held a Wait to Text school assembly recently at Booker T. Washington High School. Students signed pledges and performed to encourage classmates not to text while driving. A group of educators from Alabama recently visited Norview High School to look for ways to improve their own schools. Here's Amanda Verrata with the story.
24 principals, assistant principals, administrators, and teachers from Birmingham City Schools visited Norview High School to learn about the school and its outstanding curriculum. They toured the building, visited classrooms, and spoke with teachers and students. Based on their positive reactions, many of these educators from Alabama took back some valuable best practices to their schools.
Security, some of the teaching strategies, some of the administrative work at hand, some of the work that they're doing here. We saw several programs. The curriculum coaches, how they're set up, how the counselors' offices are set up, the hall monitoring, the actual schedules. Just wonderful.
Oh, we listened intently to the cell phone policy. We talked about team planning. We talked about syllabus development. many of the things that we're doing, but we can do better. We've seen great things, great programs, great kids, dedicated teachers to the mission of each of these young people. Very impressed with what we've seen today.
We work hard every day. We're hoping we're doing the right things for kids. We think we are, but it's nice when you have outsiders who come and say, oh my gosh, this is happening and it's so exciting. So it's great. I feel really good about what's going on here.
Norfolk's Crime Line and Norfolk Public Schools are collaborating for its new text and web tipping program. Our students are encouraged to alert authorities by texting the number 274637 and then type the message Norfolk plus your tip. Or go to the website and give your tip. Tipsters receive up to $1,000 for information that leads to an arrest. Governor McDonald declared February School Board Appreciation Month. Our 7 school board members were recognized at a recent school board meeting. Norfolk Initiative for Chess Excellence, or NICE, is a citywide partnership involving various local companies and organizations that teach students the strategies of chess. The first annual NICE Awards event honored those who not only gave donations, but also gave their time to the students to teach them and even learn themselves the art of chess.
Not all learning that we're going to need in our lives can be measured with multiple choice tests. I believe the chess playing and the NICE initiative is complementary of what we teach students in school because it allows them to apply it and apply it in a fun and exciting way daily and throughout their lives. Many times there's not a linear answer to any question. You have to think tangentially, and chess certainly allows you to do that.
I'm pleased to support NICE Chess and the work of Lisa Suhey and her team because they've given so much to our community, free of charge, making sure that our children are engaged, getting volunteers out, bringing in Brooklyn Castle. So I just believe that those that are good to you and support you, you should in return be good to them and support them. So I think all the great work that they're doing is something that we need to get behind, and hopefully we will have chess clubs in all of our schools and all of our communities and really get behind the NICE chess movement.
Volunteer Hampton Roads selected Willard Models Israel Lewis, a first grade student who won first place in their Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service Scholarship Contest. Israel won $500 for his winning essay. If you didn't get a chance to watch the live stream of Dr. King's proposed 2013-14 school budget presentation to the school board, you can now view it on the front page of NPS website under featured videos or on YouTube. Our March 4th NPS Now show will feature Superintendent of Schools Dr. Samuel King and Chief Financial Officer Dr. Michael Thornton as they discuss the 2013-14 school budget and answer your questions. This question and answer opportunity requires your support. Send in your questions to our NPS email account to www.mpsk12.com/feedback. We will read as many of your questions and provide answers during the show. Mark your calendars and tune in. This is the last week to check out the African American history activities in Norfolk schools. Tidewater Park Elementary 1st, 3rd, and 5th grade classes will be performing Rooted in the Past, Growing Toward the Future on Wednesday, February 27th at 5:30 p.m. Check out our listings of African American activities happening in Norfolk Public Schools. Get ready for this week's Admirals Hockey Makeup Game on Friday, March 1st at 7:30 p.m. for the Norfolk Public Schools Admirals Night Out Hockey Game at the Norfolk Scope. You can use your original ticket to attend this game or use it for any Admirals hockey game this season. We hope to see you there. Here's a list of upcoming events throughout Norfolk Public Schools. What's happening in sports? Let's check in with Steve Setmiller on NPS Sports.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Sutmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. We have two special guests, Cornell Parker, School Guidance Counselor and Basketball Coach at Maury High School, and Rashard Farabee, also a Guidance Counselor and Coach at Maury High School. Before we get into the discussion about NCAA guidelines, let's take a look at the Eastern Region basketball action. First up, the Maury girls were playing Princess Anne for the right to go to the Virginia High School League AAA State Basketball Tournament. The Lady Commodores, who defeated Western Branch in the quarterfinals, started strong, holding PA to just 2 first-quarter points. PA rallied to take the lead, but Maury kept it close with big buckets from Jada Lucky and Gigi Smith. Maury was down by 2 at halftime, but the second half, PA dominated. Lady Commodores lose a tough one by the score of 48-33. Lucky had 15 points while Smith added 11 as Maury ended their season with a 21-6 record. In the second game of semifinal Sunday, had the undefeated Lake Taylor Titans up against the defending regional champion Woodside Wolverines. Both teams came out strong as this was a close game throughout. Temple-bound Fionda Fitzgerald led the Lady Titans with 23 points and India McKinney had 14. Jordan Mitchell-Harmel pulled down 14 rebounds as Lake Taylor would hang on to win by the score of 52-51 and remained perfect through the season with a 25-0 record. Lake Taylor advanced to the regional final for the first time since 2010, while also securing a spot in the Virginia High School League AAA State Tournament. State Tournament will begin March 1st with quarterfinal action. For a complete schedule of the tournament, you can visit your Big Team's website or visit the virginiahighschoolleague.org site. Coaches, we just finished up a great Eastern Region basketball tournament that had many high-caliber student athletes out there performing, and a lot are moving on to the college level. What we'd like to have our viewers here today is to learn what it takes to be a college athlete. And just the first thing we want to talk about is the NCAA. And what is the NCAA and the levels that are involved in the NCAA?
Well, the NCAA is actually 3 levels. We have Division I, Division II, and Division III. Each one have a different standards up. Division I and Division II Division II has changed, but in the process, most people are looking for your core courses right now and your GPA, and also you should have taken the SAT and the ACT. If you haven't, it's still time to take it, and we'll talk more about that.
Okay, Coach, the Eligibility Center, that's a big first step for student athletes. Tell us a little bit about the NCAA Eligibility Center and when should an athlete begin to register for that?
All right, well, the NCAA Eligibility Center is formerly known as Clearinghouse. Student athletes can go online to www.eligibilitycenter.org and they can sign up there. We usually suggest around their junior year of high school that they go and create a login. And what the Eligibility Center does, it asks for the classes they take in, asks for the sports they participated in, what they plan to participate in at the college level. And they also ask for SAT scores or ACT scores and GPA, and they request that you send those to the Eligibility Center so they can take a look to see if you qualify to play at the Division I or the Division II level.
Okay. Speaking of qualifying, what are some requirements to be a Division I athlete or Division II or Division III?
Some of the things you have to have is, first of all, your GPA. And when they do GPA, they go core GPA, which in the core GPA is your English, your math, your science, and your social studies. And also foreign language can be encountered in that. Once you go there, they look at your GPA core GPA, which is what I just said, those classes. And I kind of tell students that are athletes, you're kind of different than a regular student going into a school because they look at the overall GPA, which for the clearinghouse, they just look at those courses. Next thing is taking the SAT or ACT test. There's a certain requirement for a certain GPA. For example, if I have a 2.0 core GPA, some schools will let me in with a 10-10 on the SAT. If I have a 2.5 GPA, I can get in with an 8.20 SAT or ACT score.
Okay. So a high school student, when they enter in as a freshman, are they required to start immediately to begin these core courses, or when do they need to establish these courses?
We start the courses right away. I mean, you have English and math every year. Right now, for the NCAA, for Division I, you need 16 core courses, as well as Division II now, you need 16 core courses. It used to be 14 for Division II, but 2013, that bumped it up to 16 as well. So you start now, and usually I kind of tell my students, and me and Mr. Furby, we work close together at Moore doing this with the athletes at Moore, that your foreign language students, you usually are on point because that pretty much takes you over your 16. But if they don't take foreign language, you have to make sure you monitor the core course they're taking, because you may need to add in like psychology class or sociology, AP psychology, another core course that the NCAA would take.
Okay. Coach, talk a little bit about an athlete is going through their courses, they have their GPA. Now, you talked a little bit about standardized tests. When should they sign up for these the SAT and the ACT test, and how does that compute along with their GPA?
All right. We suggest that students in general take the SAT or the ACT in their junior year. So we also give that same timeline for a student athlete who plans to participate in a sport in college. So the SAT and SAT, they start in September and they run all the way through June, and they have several different testing opportunities. So that's when we suggest that they take those standardized tests. Also, for Division I and Division II athletes, the SAT or ACT scores, you have to have a certain score to qualify for Division I or Division II. For example, the Division I, there's a sliding scale, and like Coach mentioned earlier, with a 2.0 GPA from their core classes, you have to have a 10-10 SAT score. And in 2016, there'd be a little changes, and it'd be a different grading scale. If you only have a 2.0 starting in August 1st, 2016, you won't be able to practice, and it will require a 1080 SAT score.
Okay.
And to actually play as a freshman, you have to have a minimum GPA of 2.3, and you have to have a 1020 on the SAT.
All right. So to kind of summarize everything that a parent would need to know, what are the major, just to review the major steps that an athlete needs to go through? The first thing is they have to have some athletic ability to be recruited. But the second most important thing is the academics. So just briefly review what's important for that student athlete and parent to know.
I think coming in, you need to sit down with your counselor and let the counselor know, as well as the coaches know, that your child is pursuing athletic scholarship, hopefully in the future, and we need to go over their core classes that they'll be taking. Then we also need to talk about the SAT and ACT, which both tests are different. The ACT is used mostly in the West Coast, but I don't prefer, but I have all students take both, because the ACT actually is a little bit more well-rounded, and it has a little bit of science in it, and you can actually answer every question on the ACT, and they don't take off points if you get something wrong. On the SAT, you cannot answer every question, and it's more just verbal and math. And each one of them does have a writing segment, but the ACT, you don't have to take the writing segment if you choose not to. So those are two things we talk about: grades, SAT and ACT tests. Besides that, what else would you think?
Also, it's when we discuss the level, if it's Division I, Division II, or Division III athlete, because Division III, you don't have these requirements with the GPA and the SAT or ACT as you do in Division I or Division II. Right now, Division II, you have to have an 820 on the SAT and a 2.0 core GPA. And like Coach said earlier, you have to have 16 core credits starting in 2013. So we just talk about which level of a student, Division I, Division II, Division III, will the athlete pursue, because that's a different conversation depending on what division they plan to pursue.
All right, well, coaches, that was some great information, and we appreciate you coming out here to talk about that. Our viewers need this information, our student athletes need this information, so it's a very positive story for us. So again, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
More NPS Now after this.
Welcome Welcome back to NPS Now. I'd like to welcome Dr. Jeanette Martin, Senior Coordinator for Guidance, and Dr. Susan Sigler, School Counselor at Maury High School. They're here to share valuable information about our school counseling program. Welcome, ladies, to NPS Now.
Thank you, Karen, for having us here.
Thank you all for coming. We know school guidance is responsible for class schedules and other type of programs. Share with me, what does a school counselor do on a daily basis?
Well, our school counselors do a multitude of activities. And basically what they're tasked to do is to provide college and career readiness activities and at the same time support the academic and personal social concerns of students. So in a regular day, they may deal with the crisis, but also they may sit with the student and do an academic career plan. They'll talk to students about various programs and their options down the road.
So school counselor, when I was growing up, it was more or less, you talked about which was your class schedule, but you all do more. You do crisis counseling, you do class schedules, you prepare children for college for later.
Yes, exactly. Our counselors do so much these days, and actually that's why they've moved from the term guidance to school counselor to encompass everything that they do. And basically what they're working with is the whole child. And they're, again, back to the preparing them for college and their careers, along with addressing the academic concerns and helping them prepare academically, making sure they're in the right courses so they can have opportunities in the future. And last, as we know, kids from K through 12 always have personal social concerns that they need to deal with, and our counselors are there to help them. Recently, some of the counselors have put in for grants. They applied for the Rachel's Challenge, and we can talk a little bit more about that. But that's an opportunity where they're developing a positive climate in the school, which helps our students.
So tell me, how do you do it for kindergartners? How do we get our kindergartners and elementary school students prepared for college and career readiness?
That's a great question. I think what I'd like to back up, recently over the summer, many of our counselors, we got together and we developed pacing guides, school counseling pacing guides. And what we did, we defined activities that should be conducted across the city at each grade level. And basically at the kindergarten level, we're looking at introducing students to the world of work. And you do that at their level. You show them various types of jobs that are out there and have them talk about those, to focus on those conversations. But also at the kindergarten level, you may go in and do a lesson on why it's important to do your best in school, why you should come to school, those types of things. And even to go as far as talking about, we don't use the words workplace readiness skills, but how to get along with one another. And that all sets the foundation for the years, for the activities in the subsequent years.
Yeah, Dr. Sigler, you've been a veteran of Norfolk Schools for 24 years. How do you get our middle and high schoolers ready for college?
Well, we use, as Dr. Martin said, we use a multitude of avenues. And one thing that we've done is have on-site admissions. All of the colleges come to our schools anyway, but what we have is, first, sometimes they're at the technical center or they can't get out of class. So what we've done recently is we had something at night so that the parents could attend, and students that maybe missed an opportunity with a college have the same thing. And then, of course, this springtime we'll be having a college fair for the middle school students. Well, actually it's 6 to 12, but our foundation is basically the middle school students.
So tell me how that night went for the students. How were they supposed to prepare before they come to that event?
We had them do a paper application, and then the fees were waived for them from the colleges. So we made sure that they had their recommendations and their transcripts, and those that didn't have their transcripts, all of the counselors from all of the high schools came that night and helped us with transcripts and things of that nature from all of the schools. We had over 70 students attend, and we had over 75 acceptances.
That's
because
wonderful.
certain a lot of the students would apply to more than one college, so that's why we had more acceptances than even students there.
How many colleges were on site? What type of colleges were there?
There were 6 colleges: Virginia State University, Virginia Union University, Norfolk State University, Virginia Wesleyan College was there, Tidewater Community College was there. And I think I have more.
That's a lot of folks
6,
there.
yeah.
And this is the first time we've done an early on-site?
This is the first time we've done one at night that encompassed all the high schools.
And we're doing another one soon.
We're doing one we're doing one in the springtime. And it's because of our administration as well. Our administrators really support our counseling program, and certainly having that at Maury, our administrators were a very big part of that, opening their doors. And
it wasn't just Maury students, it was all
No,
Norfolk High Schools
it was everyone.
that were
We
invited.
just hosted it, correct. We just hosted it. So.
And the second one will be for all Norfolk High Schools. Wonderful. So what direction do you think the school counseling program is going, being that we're offering this type of program? What else is down the pipe?
Well, I think that's a great lead, and what we're looking at is, and the big focus for the counselors is what we can do for everybody and to bring and to provide more services. So with the on-site admissions, we had the counselors and students from all schools there. Another event we're going to have that Sue mentioned earlier is a college and career readiness fair. It's going to be April 27th. We're working on getting the information out, but what we have counselors have volunteered from all the schools to come out and do presentations. We're going to send invitations out to parents and students where they can come and participate and learn all about college and career readiness. We're hoping to have some employers, and we'll have colleges there also. That's one of the activities, but in a broader picture, the direction we want to go into, there's a national counseling model. The American School Counselor Association has this, it's called the ASCA model. And what it does, it focuses on college and career readiness as well as the academic and personal social. We've taken that as well as the college and career readiness goals defined by the state and even by our board, and we've taken that and we have incorporated that into our pacing guide to make sure that we have Tier 1 approaches where all students receive services in those 3 domain areas.
And so we have school counselors in elementary, middle, and high.
We do.
We have just, I believe, 1 school counselor per elementary school, correct? And middle school and high school, how many school counselors are there?
Well, we have to do it by numbers. So some elementary schools, if they're very large, they may have 1.5 counselors, but every elementary school has at least 1. And then at the middle school, we basically have a 1 to 400 ratio, so it depends on how many students, the student enrollment. Typically our middle schools have anywhere between 3 and 4 counselors, and our high schools may have anywhere between 6 to 10 to 11 counselors.
Okay, and on the high school level, I want to go back to that early admissions night event. How were the students feeling when they went in, you know, kind of nervous to find out, am I going to get accepted or not? What was some of the reactions of the students?
Well, and many of the counselors have said that's the finest moment that they've ever had, was because we always have students come to us and show us a letter, I got accepted into this college, or I've got accepted into, you know, this school or this trade program, but to actually see them walk out of a room smiling, and you knew they were admitted, and to see their parents smile, that instant, that instant that we knew as soon as they knew, that was really an incredible sight to see.
So you could have gotten, say, Sally Sue could have gone to the Virginia State, Norfolk State, and got accepted to all of them? Were they able to do that night?
We had several students that were accepted to all of the schools in attendance.
That's exciting. So what else do you see school counseling providing across the district as we go into the future?
Well, I like to break it up maybe at the elementary level. I think what you can expect to see is that students are going to know about the careers. We've adopted the 16 career cluster model, so all students will be exposed to that. They'll be exposed to Virginia Career View, which is a computerized program to help them do that. 5th grade, all parents can expect that the counselor is going to sit down and go over an academic career plan with their child to help them decide their direction for the future, to get them to seriously plan that out. Now that plan will change. So those are some of the activities at the elementary school. I don't want to forget, I think we have 7 schools now that have done Rachel's Challenge, which the counselors applied for a grant and were able to bring that program to the school, all about treating one another with respect, and it changes the climate of the school. At the middle school level, I think parents can again expect that academic career planning. I think our our district-wide career fair is something that I think is going to be a real bonus for.
Oh, tell us about that too, because I know on the middle school level, the students will leave and go to, I think it was Virginia Wesleyan. It was the, Tidewater Secondary.
And we do that. What happens is, and that's a great activity in the fall, we bring over 100 colleges to our district, and we choose a local college typically that hosts it. And they come and the students come to visit. We brought high school students as well as some middle school students, and they have the opportunity to visit with all the colleges during the school day. So that's a wonderful event, and it's mainly focused on college and some post-secondary more of a career, going directly into the workplace type program.
And I've had an opportunity to go there and watch it and see the busloads of kids to come in, get into colleges and say, wow, if I never thought about going to college, I really want to go. Yeah. And there's not, we always think about the UVAs, the JMUs, the VCUs, but there are some other smaller colleges too that I think our students were excited to be there. Well, I appreciate you ladies coming in this morning and sharing with us school counseling, what's new, what's going on, and what's coming down the pike. And so we would definitely look forward to these upcoming activities, and parents and the community tuning in, they'll make sure to look out to see when they can come to the next fairs. Yeah. And we'd like to thank you for tuning in to NPS Now. The show will air throughout the week here on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. Again, thank you for watching NPS Now.